Welcome to the Creator Show. My name is David, and I've been working with creators worldwide to help them monetize their knowledge. Today, we have Jenny joining us on our show to talk about her life as a creator. Jenny Roitz is a Texas based yoga and mindfulness teacher, healing practitioner, studio manager, and creator of the Spiritual Embodiment Masterclass. Her teaching approach is humorous, down to earth, and relatable as she offers practices that help to consciously navigate emotional suffering and bring about remembrance of our innate goodness and our interconnectedness to all things. Jenny, thank you so much for being part of our show, and we're honored to have you on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So the reason I do this is because we try and understand the journey of our creators. We try and make we make other creators aware of what kind of how to basically navigate through some of these difficult scenarios when you become a creator, right? So there are lots of ups, there are lots of downs. Coming from somebody as experienced as you, I think this would definitely help our viewers a lot. So when we talk about creators, what has your experience been so far as a creator?
There have been a lot of amazing things and a lot of challenging things. Um, in general, I've really enjoyed getting to connect with people on a deeper level and getting to help people in a way that I feel I uniquely know how. Um, I have I've been very blessed to study with a lot of incredible teachers, and so I have accumulated a lot of tools that can help navigate just the landscape of the world as it is. And so I am very fortunate in that I get to connect with others and share those tools. Um, Certainly, some challenges. Of course, the technical side of things can be a little bit of a learning curve. So, learning just how to create content, how best to reach people, um, those kinds of things can create a little bit of a barrier to entry as a creator. But I do feel like the road has been um, it's becoming easier as the virtual learning environment is becoming more prominent. Um, so I am grateful for the amount of tools available, the amount of opportunities to teach online, the opportunities to create and share in the virtual space where we haven't done so prominently before.
So when you talk about obviously the journey itself, in itself is it's got, again, like I said, lots of ups and lots of downs. When we talk about your journey, how did you go about becoming a creator, or what led you to that point where you kind of felt like, what, this is where I think I need to be imparting my knowledge onto the world.
So pretty much everything was, um, we'll say, launched forward during the pandemic.
Right.
I was already teaching yoga locally and in person, um, but during the pandemic, obviously, and the lockdown, the yoga studio that I managed went completely virtual. So we transitioned to offering classes online, and once we did that, it sort of made me a little bit more comfortable offering my own things
Right.
in the form of a course, or just sharing things that I felt like could be helpful, because COVID felt very much like this pressure cooker that
Mhm.
kind of created a lot of intensity for a lot of us.
Right.
And I found myself using these tools myself for just staying grounded and staying sane during the lockdown. Um, and so I just became inspired one day to create something that others could access. And it was, I feel very divinely inspired because it was something that I couldn't not do. It was like all that I could think about. The information just sort of came very easily, very clearly. This is what I need to do. Um, and I went for it, and so that
And
was sort of my entry
right.
point.
And here you are today, right? I mean, after
Yeah.
all of that, it's a journey within itself. But I think like you, there's so many other creators that have actually, I think experienced this similar situation where I believe the COVID, kind of got them to or rather push them or leap forward them right into the future of being able to go digital, being able to go online instead of just being able to do what they did in person, right? So that combination of
Hmm.
online, in person, hybrid, however you want to name it, I think ultimately that's what COVID did, right? It kind of pushed everybody out of their comfort zone and made them look at things that I feel they probably may not have done for another 5 to 10 years, right?
Hmm.
I know the landscape kind of changed, not just for creators, but also if we look at businesses, worldwide, it kind of happened. Nobody believed in the concept that a work from home model would be something that would be successful. But when you have to when you have to adopt and then transition yourself, your approach to what you've been doing to basically do that 180-degree turn and kind of move everything online, it's a whole different ball game altogether, right? I mean,
Hmm.
it's a very big transition, especially if technologically, if you're not sure how to go about it, then it's a very big world out there with the whole internet and everything else that kind of falls into that, right? So when you
Absolutely.
decided to do this, what was okay? Let's say before you created your first course, I'm sure you would have had a lot of different ideas, about what you want to do content wise. I'm sure you've got a lot of ideas that you would have thought of. Uh, how easy or how difficult was it for you to kind of put everything down, to pen and paper, and then to be able to then create that as a creator, right? What was that experience like when you had to create your first course?
So I had a general idea of what I thought I was offering. And once I started, like you said, putting pen to paper, once I started creating content, I started realizing there was a lot more that I needed to include. So something that I thought was going to take me, I projected 3 months to create all the content
Right.
and record all the videos and everything that was required. It ended up taking closer to a year.
Wow.
So it it was absolutely a labor of love. Um, and definitely, I feel, as I mentioned before, divinely inspired because it was like the ideas just kept pouring through, and I was very clear that I needed to include these things, and these were going to be helpful. I actually thought it was going to be just like a harmonium course, like how to play harmonium and include mantras and some information about bhakti yoga, and that ended up turning into a complete just like master class of all things yoga and spirituality and embodiment. So including um, harmonium and bhakti yoga and chanting and things like that. So yeah, it definitely evolved. It But I think if I had known everything that I was going to include at the very beginning, it probably would have felt a lot more daunting,
Right.
and been a lot harder to start. So it was probably a good thing. It was probably somehow for my protection and for the perpetuation of the project that I didn't really fully grasp the scope until I got into it.
Absolutely. So now when we talk about obviously there when we talk about the challenges that you've probably gone through over the last few years, um, obviously, I'm guessing one of the challenges, like everybody else, would be technology, right? I mean, at that point in time, to kind of understand the different kind of tools that are out there, what's going to assist you well. Other than technology, did you really think of any, or can you think of any of the challenges that kind of came into your way? Something that you felt, what this is kind of a roadblock for me right now, and how were you able to overcome that?
So, just finding the time was my first challenge. I did, as I mentioned, I did create all of this during the pandemic and during lockdown. And I have a family, and so I was caring for a young child at the time. And so, just finding time to generate the content was challenging. Not even the technology part, but just the time part.
Right.
And I just committed to carving out space where I could, getting help at home when I could, and really just resolving to the fact that I was going to get this done and find the pockets where I could. Another challenge has been the pricing of the course. So, just based on the content, based on the hours of instruction, based on all of the scope of what's covered and the information that's available to keep for to download and keep forever. The value of my course is upwards of $2,000,
Right.
but because of the I guess
The
the
markets.
market, the
Yeah.
landscape, the prevalence of online courses these days, and the undervaluation of a lot of courses, it's that was a challenge to find the sweet spot of where I felt like was a good price point that felt like a good energy exchange of what I put into it, and also felt like students, it was accessible for students, because these are tools that I want people to have access to. And I don't want to price the majority of people out of this content, because I do believe in the quality and the benefit.
So, was there a lot of market research involved on your side to be able to understand what would be a good price point for my course? More importantly, I think in this situation, again, you said time was a major hindrance, right, in terms of being able to get everything together in time. Uh, Obviously, you've got everything that you already got, right here, right? It's all there, and you want to kind of be able to impart that, but to get everything, into that one little block is going to be very difficult. And yes, if you don't have enough time to kind of do that, it's going to be very hurried, and then again you're creating something for somebody, or you may be creating it for the wrong set of audience, right? So
Mm.
yes, I think investing in yourself, and in yourself becoming a creator is like, you know uh, I mean, you said you had to take care of a young child. I understand that point as well, because I do the same thing. But this would be like another child itself, right? Where you have to
Mhm.
actually invest all of that time to be able to make sure you're nurturing it the right way to kind of get it up to that point, right?
Mhm.
Some market research obviously would have been very important for you in terms of understanding the landscape and understanding what's out there. Who's your audience, being able to kind of get all of that into one single frame. Obviously, is going to
Mhm.
be very difficult, right?
Yeah.
So that is something I'm sure most of the creators who are looking to embark on this journey would probably be in the same shoes, and they would be probably
Mhm.
thinking of, well, many of them may have thought about technology, many of them will have thought about how they price the courses, where do they stand. But I think an important factor that you speak about is time, which I believe
Mhm.
not many people have. I've done a few of these, and I know not many of them have actually covered anything on the time factor. So obviously that makes a lot of difference as well, right?
Mhm. Absolutely.
So when you, and then because we said you had to do some bit of market research, what was your approach towards the process of learning and staying up to date, with current practices or best practices and industry trends?
Just in general, or for pricing?
No, for in general.
So I rely a lot on communication from the different platforms that I utilize to keep me
Okay.
informed about trends and best practices and opportunities to learn more. Anytime I see a webinar come through about something that pertains to my industry, I usually try and make sure and join. I try to connect with professionals in the industry that are doing similar things, and really pick their brains for best practices and what they've found helpful, and um, different coaching programs just for myself and my personal growth. So I am a teacher, I'm a creator, but I also mm, try to make sure to continue my own learning, for my own personal growth. So, whether it's following the Fresh Learn newsletter, or, the Zoom newsletters, what just all the different voices in the industry that are offering advice, I try and take
But
advantage of it
keep
and stay up to date.
keep up to date with the technology of creating.
Yeah, it's always
Right.
changing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I mean, we are kind of in this mode of trying to enable creators, and we ourselves are constantly trying to learn on a daily basis.
Mhm.
Today I've learned something. Tomorrow I'm like, it's like a clean slate. I have to again start learning something else, right? I
Mhm.
mean, it's forever evolving, right? I mean, and throw in AI in the entire mix, and then you've got like whole
Mm.
nother thing, that's just waiting to get out there, right? So I
Mhm.
think I would say AI also plays an important part, right, in what you're doing, because I know nowadays I see a lot of I'm not taking names here, but I do know that a lot of there's a lot of AI software or AI tools that are currently enabling or helping creators and even businesses, right, to be able to kind of automate a lot of the work. What do you feel, in terms of your in the line that you are in terms of technology? Would AI be something that would be a boon to you, or would that kind of be more of I don't need that right now. I can actually do what I'm doing right now and still do the best I can.
Yeah, I feel a little old school in that respect because I don't this content is so near and dear to my heart that I don't really feel like AI would benefit me at this point.
Right.
It's something that's very much my own unique offering and coming from my voice, and I don't really see AI being able to um, accentuate that, or alleviate any kind of effort on my
Right.
part.
Right. Even for, like, let's say, uh, for some bit of your maybe website or content, something like that, something to kind of assist you with, right? Something on those lines as well. So I know
Hmm.
you got everything that you kind of want to put in there. You've got a blueprint, but at some point, do you feel that it might contribute in any way? Again, this
Oh,
is
I'm
for
sure.
future creators. Right.
Yeah, I'm usually an early-ish adopter of technology, but with AI, I just haven't really jumped on the bandwagon yet.
Right.
I'm sure I
I guess
will.
everybody at some point will. I'm guessing that's what it probably would probably boil down to. I still haven't,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I kind of believe, we let we probably would use AI to help us in some aspects, right? But again, that's what we built, right? We built AI,
Hmm.
so we kind of have to help AI to maybe just navigate or give it direction. Right? That's as far as it goes for me as well.
Hmm.
All right. So now, when we've spoken about some of the challenges you faced, we've spoken about your journey so far. What about the high points? What about how do you attribute success in your field?
I think a lot of it right now comes from word of mouth
Okay.
for my community. Even though my course is available online and accessible to people beyond my direct community, uh, right now the biggest um, those who are most involved are those that I am directly connected with, and then those that people that they have told about this. So
Right.
it's definitely word of mouth and people sharing their experience with the course, and just personal stories about what it's done for them. Those have been the biggest contributors to success in terms of enrollments and engagement in the community, the course community, and things like that. Um, I think that including things like live calls and coaching in the format of the course has also been helpful.
Right.
So having, even though the course is pre-recorded and it's self-paced and it's online, having the opportunity to connect with the students who are taking it has created a nice community as well, and helped people talk about their experience and connect with others who might be going through the same thing.
Right.
So
So
those
the
have been,
interconnectedness to all things, I guess, would
yeah.
only be a success, right? I mean, at the end of the day, right? You want to be able to. That's. I think that's a life goal for everyone, right? To be able to kind of,
Hmm.
be able to reach out, or to be able to share knowledge. I guess that is something that, if it benefits somebody else, I think that, for me, that is success. If I can share my knowledge that can benefit somebody, definitely something I would definitely feel happy about that as well.
Hmm.
Right. What about future creators? Right. I know there are a lot of creators out there who are probably sitting on the fence right now. Still thinking about if we should go down this path. If, is this the right path for me? Uh, what kind of advice would you have for aspiring creators such as yourself? And what kind of pitfalls should they maybe avoid?
Yeah, so I think if there is an inspiration to create, and if there is a seed of something that feels important to an individual that would also apply to the collective, then that's an idea that could be turned into some kind of an online offering, whether it's a course or master class or a webinar. Um, and I think it's very unique to the individual. When you feel the like the welling up in
Right.
the throat, like you really need to say something, or just like the excitement in your heart when you think about uh, creating the content, or even being nervous. Those would all be signs to me that that thing needs to probably come out into the world and be manifest.
Right.
Um, it's it's scary,
Right.
intimidating, it's overwhelming, all of those things, but it's also very rewarding being able to see a project come to life and be a thing in the world. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, and probably a pitfall would be getting stuck before you begin, because it is easy to sort of hype yourself up and think about everything that needs to fall into place along the way, or having a complete roadmap um, of exactly every detail that you are going to do from start to finish. But I think something helpful would be to have a loose idea or outline of where you're going, and then kind of let the details fill in along the way,
Right.
adjusting for what feels right at the moment, and trusting that if your intention is to offer something that's for the good of all, that what comes through is going to be what's needed.
Right. Got. So improvisation is definitely something that people should definitely look at when they are kind of embarking on the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what about what the future holds in terms of virtual trainings and online courses, right? What is your take on how do you feel, or where do you feel this is kind of moving towards?
Well, I absolutely feel this is the future. I don't know, now that we've transitioned to being really comfortable with online learning, and more and more people engaging virtually with programs. like this, there's just so much information that's readily accessible. I don't see that going away. I don't see that trend reversing.
Right.
It's like, yeah, we have the whole world at our fingertips.
Absolutely.
And I think it's incredible. It can be a little overwhelming because, especially if you're a learner, which I am, you want to enroll in every program and then
Right.
you get a little burnout. But
Right.
I definitely believe this is the trend and this is where we're headed. And I, I think that um, there is a risk of it becoming over saturated
Right.
just with the market, and everyone, it becoming so easy to create online content that
Right.
it can be a little bit overwhelming, and the really high quality offerings can sort of get drowned out by the other things that are just floating around out there.
Correct.
And so that's a little bit of a challenge, but I think it just comes with the territory, and that's where it becomes really important to be clear on your messaging and
Right.
the
So I
the
would say,
intention of the offering.
right. So I would say, maybe, one thing to look at, I would say, is maybe the outreach. The outreach would probably be global, right? I mean,
Hmm.
earlier, with only being restricted to local, or within that city, I mean, it was, you would get a handful of people that would really want to do or understand and learn what you teach, right? But I think now with this, with the entire, you know, community going online, I feel the outreach is definitely global, right? And you could probably be teaching, or you could be, your courses could probably be helping somebody in Italy or in Spain or in
Hmm.
Cambodia, right? I mean, everybody has access to you now,
Yeah.
as compared to before, right? So,
Hmm.
sorry. So definitely, one thing that the pandemic did is it kind of, even though it shut the doors on everybody, it kind of brought the whole world together, right? I mean, that's what it
Hmm.
kind of did, right? I mean,
Yeah.
once you close the doors, everything online opened up, and then we had to learn how to improvise, right? So I feel, in a way, when you look at the online, or where this is going towards, where this is heading online, uh, I feel there is huge scope, at least from what I've seen so far, and I think, I don't know. I feel, for you, maybe globally there was an outreach now that probably would not have been possible 3 years ago, or it would not have, the mindset would not have so quickly transitioned into looking at something online rather than doing something, in person, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Wonderful. So I think, a lot of our viewers, would really be excited to hear what you've had to say. And I do thank you so much for your time today, Jenny, for being able to come on the show. And it's been a real honor for us to have you all here.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you.